Greetings, quiet warriors. Most people are exhausted not because life is hard, but because they're fighting it every single day. From the moment you wake up, you're told to chase harder, move faster, prove yourself, and never slow down. If you want something, you're told to grind for it. If it hasn't arrived yet, you're told you're not doing enough. And if you stop pushing, even for a moment, you're made to feel like you're falling behind. But here's a question almost no one asks. What if the reason things feel so heavy is because you're forcing what was meant to flow? The ancient Stoics lived in a world of wars, exile, loss, and uncertainty far greater than ours. And yet, they discovered something that sounds almost impossible in today's culture. They realized that the more you cling to outcomes, the more life resists you. And the more you learn to move with reality instead of against it, the more everything you need begins to arrive naturally. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but his greatest power wasn't control over armies. It was control over himself. He understood that peace isn't something you find after you succeed. Peace is what allows success to find you. Think about water for a moment. It never argues with the path in front of it. It doesn't panic when it meets a rock. It doesn't try to dominate the terrain. It adapts. It flows. And over time, it reshapes everything in its path. The Stoics believed that when you stop strangling life with urgency, life starts opening doors you didn't even know existed. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 Stoic rules that quietly rewire the way reality responds to you. These aren't motivational tricks. They're not affirmations you repeat desperately hoping something changes. They are inner shifts that remove resistance so completely that what you've been chasing begins to move toward you instead. Listen slowly. Let this sink in. Don't rush through this. And before we go any further, do this one small thing. Like this video. It signals that you're choosing growth over noise. And if this message already feels different, type this in the comments to anchor it. When I stop forcing, life responds. Now let's begin. The first Stoic rule is learning how to desire without clinging. Most people don't realize this, but desperation has a scent. And life can smell it from a mile away. The harder you need something, the tighter your chest becomes. The tighter your chest becomes, the narrower your thinking gets. And from that state, you don't attract opportunities, you repel them. Epictetus taught that freedom begins the moment your happiness stops depending on outcomes. Not because outcomes don't matter, but because your worth doesn't rise and fall with them. There's a powerful difference between wanting something and needing it to feel whole. When you need something, you chase it with fear. When you want something but remain complete without it, you move with confidence. And confidence is magnetic. Think about the people you know who seem to attract success, respect, and relationships effortlessly. They're rarely the ones begging life to give them something. They're calm. Grounded. They expect good things, but they don't collapse if plans change. That's detached desire. It doesn't mean you stop dreaming. It means you stop gripping your dreams like your life depends on them. The moment you can say, I would love this outcome, but I trust myself even if it doesn't happen exactly this way, pressure dissolves. Your nervous system relaxes. And life responds to that relaxed certainty. Try this today. Hold something you deeply want in your mind. Then say quietly, this, or something better. Feel the tension release. That release is power. If that resonates, drop this in the comments, I desire calmly, not desperately. The second Stoic rule is learning to live where your power actually exists. Most people are never where they are. They're mentally rehearsing conversations that haven't happened. Replaying mistakes they can't change. Worrying about futures that don't exist yet. And while they're doing that, life is unfolding right in front of them, unnoticed. Seneca warned that anxiety is what happens when the mind abandons the present moment. And when you abandon the present, you abandon your ability to influence anything. Here's the truth most people miss. Opportunities don't live in tomorrow. They live in awareness. The reason calm people seem lucky is because they notice things stressed people overlook. A sentence someone casually says. A feeling that nudges them to take a different path. A moment that feels small but turns out to change everything. Presence sharpens intuition. When you're fully here, your energy becomes clean. You're not dragging regret behind you or pulling fear ahead of you. You're available. And availability is incredibly attractive. Think about the most magnetic person you've ever met. They weren't rushing you. They weren't half listening while checking a phone. They were there. And being fully present made you feel seen. That's not just social skill. That's alignment. Every time your mind drifts into what if or when will it happen, gently bring it back. Feel your breath. Notice the room. Ground yourself in now. This isn't meditation for peace. This is presence for creation. When you stop waiting for life to begin, life starts responding. If you feel that truth, write this below: my power lives in this moment. The third Stoic rule is understanding how resistance actually works. Life will block you, delay you, redirect you. That part is guaranteed. The mistake is believing resistance is punishment. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, illness, and endless war. And yet he wrote that what blocks the path becomes the path. Not as poetry, but as instruction. Most people meet an obstacle and immediately tense up. They argue with reality. They ask, why is this happening to me? And in that fight, they lose energy, clarity, and momentum. But resistance isn't there to stop you. It's there to shape you. Think of a fire that tempers steel. Without pressure, the blade never sharpens. Without challenge, the character never deepens. When you stop resenting obstacles and start studying them, something changes. You become flexible, strategic, calm. You respond instead of react. Sometimes a delay is protecting you from walking into something you're not ready for yet. Sometimes a rejection is clearing space for something that actually fits you. Sometimes the breakdown is the only way to break the version of you that couldn't handle what's coming. Instead of asking, why is this happening, ask, what is this preparing me for? That single shift turns frustration into strength. The moment you stop fighting reality, reality starts working with you. If you're ready to grow instead of resist, comment this: obstacles refine me, they don't defeat me. The fourth Stoic rule is reclaiming your inner authority. Most people don't realize how much power they've handed away. A comment can ruin their mood. A number in their bank account can decide their confidence. Someone else's approval can determine how they feel about themselves for days. Without noticing it, they've made the outside world the ruler of their inner world. Epictetus warned that the moment you allow external things to control your emotional state, you become a servant to circumstances. And a servant can never feel abundant, no matter how much they have. Think about how often you say things like, I'll feel better when this works out, or I'll be confident once I get that. Every time you think that way, you're postponing your peace and placing it in the hands of something you can't fully control. That's exhausting. Inner authority begins the moment you decide that your calm, your worth, and your self-respect are not negotiable based on outcomes. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop letting results define you. When your sense of stability comes from within, you move differently. You speak differently. You make decisions from clarity instead of fear. And people feel that. Life responds to those who are grounded in themselves because they are no longer trying to extract validation from every situation. Practice this. Before reacting to something today, pause and ask yourself, how do I choose to show up here? Not how do I feel automatically, but how do I choose to respond? That choice is power. If you're ready to stop outsourcing your peace, write this: my inner state belongs to me. The fifth Stoic rule sounds counterintuitive in a world addicted to constant motion. It is the discipline of knowing when not to act. Modern culture glorifies busyness. Movement is mistaken for progress. But the Stoics understood that action taken from anxiety creates chaos, not results. There is a difference between aligned action and frantic action. Think about nature. Seeds don't grow faster because you dig them up to check on them. Pulling on the stem doesn't make the plant stronger. Growth requires both effort and restraint. Strategic stillness is not laziness. It is intelligence. There are moments when pushing harder is exactly what blocks the outcome you want. When you step back, clarity has room to appear. When you stop forcing, timing reorganizes itself. The most effective people are not always the busiest. They are the most precise. They wait when waiting is wise, and they move decisively when the moment is right. This requires trust. Trust that not everything needs immediate interference. Trust that silence can be productive. Trust that space allows solutions to surface. This week, notice where you're acting just to feel in control. Then experiment with restraint. Pause. Observe. Let the next step reveal itself instead of dragging it into existence. Stillness isn't stagnation. It's preparation. If this speaks to you, comment this: I act with intention, not anxiety. The sixth Stoic rule is gratitude, not as politeness, but as power. Most people think gratitude is something you practice after life goes well. The Stoics practiced it so life would go well. Gratitude shifts your internal signal from "I lack" to "I have." And life responds differently to those two frequencies. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily of what was already working, even while ruling during wars and plagues. Not because he ignored reality, but because he understood where attention goes, energy follows. When you constantly focus on what's missing, you unconsciously train your mind to search for absence. When you appreciate what's present, you train your mind to recognize abundance. This doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. Stoic gratitude is honest. It sees difficulty clearly and still chooses appreciation. You can be grateful for lessons hidden inside hardship. Grateful for strength you didn't know you had. Grateful for the fact that you're still standing. Gratitude stabilizes you. And stability is fertile ground for growth. When you wake up grateful, you move through the day differently. When you end the day grateful, your mind learns to expect good things. Say thank you more often. Not out of obligation, but awareness. Appreciate small moments. Ordinary breaths. Quiet victories no one else sees. When life sees that you value what you've already been given, it entrusts you with more. If you're ready to shift into that state, type this: I recognize abundance where I am. The seventh Stoic rule is emotional sovereignty. This is where most people unknowingly lose control of their lives. They believe emotions just happen to them. That anger, fear, sadness, or excitement arrive on their own and take over. And because of that belief, they allow emotions to steer decisions, shape reactions, and dictate outcomes. The Stoics saw this differently. Seneca taught that emotions are signals, not commands. They are information, not orders. The moment you forget this, you hand the wheel of your life to impulses that were never meant to drive. Two people can face the same setback. One spirals. The other adapts. The difference isn't circumstance. It's emotional mastery. Emotional sovereignty doesn't mean suppressing how you feel. It means you allow emotions to exist without letting them rule you. You observe anger without becoming reckless. You acknowledge fear without freezing. You experience sadness without drowning in it. When you reclaim this control, something powerful happens. Your inner world becomes stable. And a stable inner world creates consistent results in the outer world. Manifestation isn't just about thoughts. It's about emotional climate. Your emotions are creative energy. When they're chaotic, your outcomes are chaotic. When they're regulated, life becomes orderly. Next time a strong emotion rises, pause. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Then decide how you want to use that energy instead of wasting it. You don't need to eliminate emotion. You need to lead it. If you're stepping into that strength, comment this: my emotions inform me, they don't control me. The eighth Stoic rule is the philosophy of enough. This one quietly dismantles desperation at its root. We live in a world constantly whispering that you'll feel complete after the next achievement, the next purchase, the next validation. And without realizing it, you postpone your sense of fulfillment indefinitely. Seneca warned that poverty isn't about having little. It's about never feeling satisfied. The philosophy of enough doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you stop believing that growth is required for worth. Here's the paradox. The moment you feel whole with what you already have, you stop chasing from lack. And when lack disappears, attraction begins. People who feel enough carry a different presence. They aren't grasping. They aren't needy. They pursue goals with curiosity instead of panic. And that calm confidence draws people, resources, and opportunities toward them. Enoughness is not complacency. It's grounding. When you feel enough, you can still want more, but you want it from excitement, not emptiness. From expansion, not insecurity. Before sleeping tonight, take inventory. Not of what's missing, but of what's already supporting you. Your breath. Your resilience. The fact that you've survived everything life has thrown at you so far. That awareness changes your internal posture. And posture changes how life meets you. If you're done chasing wholeness outside yourself, write this: I am already enough. The ninth Stoic rule is the courage to live authentically. One of the most overlooked blocks to manifestation is living a life that isn't aligned with who you really are. When you constantly adjust yourself to meet expectations, when you silence your real thoughts, when you pursue goals that don't belong to you, you create internal friction. And friction slows everything down. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself how much peace comes from minding his own path rather than comparing himself to others. Authenticity is not about rebellion. It's about alignment. When you're not honest with yourself, life doesn't know what to deliver. When you hide behind roles, masks, and approval seeking, you confuse your own signal. But when you move honestly, when your actions reflect your values, when your words reflect your truth, when your goals reflect your genuine desires, things begin to line up. The right people find you. The wrong ones fall away. Opportunities that match your nature appear without force. This takes courage, because authenticity means some doors will close. Some people won't understand you. Some paths you thought you wanted will no longer fit. That isn't loss. That's precision. Life responds most generously to clarity. And authenticity is clarity in motion. Start small. Speak one honest sentence today. Make one decision that reflects who you really are, not who you're trying to impress. If you're ready to live from alignment, comment this: I choose truth over approval. The 10th Stoic rule is trust in timing. This is where everything finally softens. Most suffering doesn't come from wanting things. It comes from wanting them on your schedule. When life doesn't move fast enough, the mind tightens. When results don't arrive when expected, doubt creeps in. And without realizing it, impatience becomes resistance. Marcus Aurelius wrote about accepting the rhythm of events not as resignation, but as wisdom. He understood that life unfolds with an intelligence far broader than any single perspective. Trusting timing doesn't mean sitting still and doing nothing. It means doing your part with sincerity while releasing the need to control the outcome. It means understanding that delays are often preparation, not denial. Think about the most meaningful moments in your life. The friendships, the breakthroughs, the turning points. Very few arrived exactly when you demanded them. Most appeared unexpectedly, through paths you never planned, when you were finally ready to receive them. When you force timing, you miss lessons. When you surrender timing, clarity finds you. There are moments when you need to grow before what you're asking for can safely arrive. Moments when life is rearranging things behind the scenes. Moments when the silence isn't absence, but alignment. Trust allows you to relax into the process instead of fighting it. And relaxation is not weakness. It is receptivity. When you trust timing, you stop burning energy trying to predict everything. You stop rejecting good things because they don't look exactly how you imagined. You start noticing what's unfolding now instead of postponing peace for later. This is where everything comes together. Detached desire keeps you calm. Presence keeps you aware. Acceptance strengthens you. Inner authority grounds you. Stillness refines you. Gratitude expands you. Emotional mastery stabilizes you. Enoughness frees you. Authenticity aligns you. And trust allows life to move. The Stoics never chased miracles. They became the kind of people miracles could move through. Manifestation was never about forcing reality to obey. It was about removing the internal resistance that blocked reality from responding. When you stop clenching your fists around life, your hands become open. And open hands receive. What's meant for you doesn't need to be hunted. It needs to be allowed. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. And nothing meant for you has passed you by. If this message found you at the right moment, seal it by writing this in the comments: I relax, I trust, and I receive. Share this with someone who feels stuck in force and pressure. Subscribe if you want to continue walking this path of calm strength and clarity. Until next time, stay grounded, stay disciplined, and stay open. This is Stoic Quiet Strength, power in silence.